says starting. Okay.
Yeah, it says live.
All right, live. Okay, sorry.
I feel like the ones for the different cultures will be fine, just maybe not the professions.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, do you guys think, because I noticed watching the informal and the formal that they had specific roles, like the formal had stater, prover, and attacker.
Yeah.
And then the informal had like 5 roles, like fielder and researcher, and like, do you think we can choose whatever roles we want, or do you think those are ones we should use?
I think we have to use them all.
Sorry, what?
I think we have to use them all.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, I
they
didn't
need
know.
one person at least.
Yeah, because the first video only had like 3 roles.
The informal one, I think more like 2 people can take separate roles or the same roles. I think the formal one, each person has their own individual stance or place. You know what I mean? Like multiple people can participate.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just because it was shorter, but it only had 3 roles, and there was like 6 or 7 people, so I was really confused. I was like, wait, do we not all do something?
I think it's because multiple people like present cons. Like, one person will say one con and then another person will say another con.
Yeah.
Whereas in the informal, it doesn't go back and forth so much like that.
Yeah. Well, I guess it was just a clip too, so we might not have seen everyone. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel like ours seemed like, or our topic is like almost harder in that it's not as broad and research based as the other ones. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there's not a lot of research on gift giving in our field. I feel like other topics, there's like so much research, and I feel like ours is kind of.
Yeah, I was looking for.
Yeah.
I was looking for articles on professions, and I couldn't find any actual like scientifically based research articles on that.
No.
Right. And I'm like, do you think we should, I don't know, should we try to find some articles on like ethics? I don't know.
or ethics violations maybe.
Yeah, or something like that, because I'm like,
I mean, even if we know what the most common violations are, if we need to just use it for evidence that gift giving isn't even that serious.
right, because I want to be able to cite you know what I mean, like to have some research to back us up, but it's like there's just not that much for this topic.
Well, and I was thinking maybe like case studies, but what would the case study even be? Like the therapist got too close, but then like what are they measuring? And I don't know, like
and I even
variables.
Because I even tried to do like research articles on multiple relationships, and there was like nothing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, how do I even?
Oh, I did find something. Hold on one second. I'm gonna share my screen really quick. It's a lot though, so I haven't read it all or anything,
But then, like you were saying, even the ones that are on like dual relationships and all that, they're not even our field.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So, actually, I think these are pretty good. So it has like the concern with boundaries. Here, let me click it, and then.
Kind of nice too that it shows like an argument format, like for and against.
Yeah, and then I mean, I feel like we can cite these kinds of articles that talk about it, and then we just have to make valid like claims and then support, and we just have to like respond to each other's claims. I can send this to everybody too, so that we can all kind of look at it, because there's a lot. And then there's like the concern with boundaries, the slippery slope, power and exploitation, risk management. I don't know. There's kind of things, and we can make arguments for each one and then kind of go back and forth.
Yeah, it's nice too because it is like within our field, you know, broadly, but it's like psychology, so.
Yeah. And then I was thinking for like the pro gift giving, maybe I could look into like parent opinions on gift giving, like if there's any like blogs or like parent blogs with kids with autism who
Yeah.
get ADHD, and like if they talk about it, or statistics of like turnover rates or like stress and sick leave for therapists.
Yeah.
Maybe like
And
claim like
the,
therapists need reinforcement too. Like
mhm.
I don't
And the
know.
importance
Right.
of like building rapport
Yeah,
for consultation and stuff.
yeah. Caring and rapport. Yeah, that's great too.
I found another article that has I didn't even see this anywhere. Do our articles need to be like research published in a journal articles, or
Did you guys watch that video of, I think it was like the assistant giving the instructions on the debate? I don't remember. It was with the other videos, I think. And she said that it was 4 articles and then 2 other resources that we needed to do. And then she recommended like compiling it down to a few key points, and then you argue that side, and then you have the person who argues against that side, and each side needs to use the code and some sort of resource to back up. So you argue point A, like one side presents, then the next side kind of goes against it, and then you go to point B and then point C.
Okay.
So if we can like highlight some key points that we want to do, maybe we can narrow down the research that we need. Because like that other video that we watched about the basketball players or whatever, like he said, don't, get your point. Your point is, why is it ethical? Why is it not ethical? So I don't know if you guys can find that video. I can't remember exactly where it's at. I think it's in module 1 though. It was pretty informative.
Okay, great.
I found another article that a PhD wrote, and it's called "Not All Multiple Relationships Are Created Equal: Mapping the Maze of 26 Types of Multiple Relationships." And then he all of the relationships up by like choice, context, legal, ethical, intensity, helpful, harmful, mandated multiple relationships. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I'll send it so people can see it, but it kind of also talks about like things that do not constitute multiple relationships, things that do, why they could be harmful, things like that. So maybe be helpful.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah. And then also one of the videos said that the opposing side, they don't have to necessarily say it's unethical, but we can just state that, or they can just state that it's not, or I'm sorry, it's not unethical, but not always ethical. So it's not like there's no right answer.
Right. Yeah, ours isn't very black and white, I don't think. I don't think our arguments are going to go that way.
Wow, my one that I have is from the same website that yours is from.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And maybe we could also argue about like the intensity of the relationships. You know what I mean? Because we were talking about, and I'm not sure exactly how we could do that. That article kind of brings it up a little bit, but like obviously it's wrong to accept like, like a gold bracelet from someone, but it's like if it's a cookie, you know what I mean? Like there's really different levels. So like maybe we can touch on that because I feel like that makes a huge difference.
Well, even sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
The newsletter from the BACB even state that they consider like the intent behind the gift giving, and then like it was weird wording, but ultimately like what the value was.
Right.
So I think that's a really good point, that even the board, like even though they explicitly state not to receive gifts, they still will allow exceptions for like cultural differences and what kind of harm could it have potentially caused.
Sure.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I thought about this today too, because it made me think of it with one of my clients. So in like October, we have like adjunct consultants that come in from like different parts of the country to like supervise or to like consult with us like a few times a year. But it made me think of this because the client I was with in the consult had a bunch of like problem behaviors during the consult, and during one of them he got up and my supervisor like had came in and she had like iced coffee from Starbucks, and during his behavior he like got up and spilled her coffee like all over the floor, and his mom was like really upset and was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, like I'm gonna go buy you another one, like I'm so sorry. And my supervisor was kind of like, like I can't accept that. And she was like crying because she felt so horrible that, you know what I mean, like her son had spilt the coffee, and our clinical director was kind of like, because she like wouldn't let it go, like she was really upset about it, and she was just kind of like, you know what, that's fine, I won't, you know what I mean, like I'll let it slide, like if you want to go buy another one, because it kind of like repaired the situation, you know what I mean, like it was a different than like, here, let me bribe you. It was like, let me repair what was. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it was like it was different than like, I'm just giving you a gift to like bribe you. It was like, I want to fix what was wrong. That's kind of, you know what I mean? Because if you're out in public and your kid did something like that, you would obviously want to fix the situation. So I think it's just, I don't know. I just thought about that today, how it's kind of like, because it was still considered a gift, but like she was just replacing the one that her son spilled. I don't know what that would fall into, but I just thought about it.
If the parent was that upset and she just refused to accept it, and then she just went home feeling terrible about it,
like feeling horrible, and she's like the sweetest lady, like, yeah, obviously if that's gonna make her feel, you know what I mean, like if that's gonna make her feel better in that situation, like fine, like. Heather, are you on mute?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, no, you're fine. I was like, oh no, are you talking to us? Okay. Yeah, but I don't know, maybe we should somehow mention the intensity, and maybe we could even talk about it in behavior terms, like, because yesterday or Monday we were talking about like the duration of your relationship, you know what I mean, like the longer you're with them, the more they're probably going to try those things, and like, things like that. I don't know, maybe we could do something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. So I think basically one side is going to say gift giving is absolutely unacceptable all the time because of this.
It's never okay.
And then we can list, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. And then the other side will say, well, no, that won't always happen because of this.
Right.
Our argument.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's definitely a gray area. I feel like we're going to be debating the gray area. Mm-hmm. Never okay versus it's sometimes okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because obviously no one's ever going to be like it's always okay, because there's obvious times when it's not. So what do you guys think after watching those videos? Do you think we should do the formal or the informal? Even after watching those, I still don't know. Like,
I know they were kind of short, and then I don't know. I still like. What do you guys think? You lost. What's happening?
Wait, where'd Stacy go?
I'm not sure. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, at first I thought the informal would be easier, but I feel like the formal has more structure that could help move it along.
Yeah.
and like help us know when it's our time to talk.
Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
That's gonna be hard because how long does it have to be?
I don't know. I almost feel like we should like write it. I mean, I'm gonna write my part out because
Yeah,
I'll freak out if I don't.
definitely.
Like speaking and his presentations and videos and
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah.
I think it said 25 minutes or 35 minutes.
That sounds about right. Something like that.
So long.
Long. Yeah. Well, and then we should definitely practice it before. Just
Oh yeah.
how many points? Like I don't even know how many points we should make. We should like introduce each member. We have to talk about like what ABA is, what gift giving is, why it's important. That could take a while.
Yeah. I think that, yeah. That's a long time.
The syllabus says 30 to 45 minutes.
Oh my God. It'd be helpful if I've ever had to do a debate before in my life.
I know. She's gonna ask us questions too that I think she sends us before we record it, and so we have to answer her questions also
Okay.
because we'll have
That'll be helpful then.
that we submit.
It's going
I
to
feel
be
like that'll
hard.
be super helpful.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to script it and make it flow like we're actually debating. You know what I mean? I mean, I definitely think we need to script it, but it's like we're like reading off the computer and then
Well, those videos, they were all reading off the computer. She said
Yeah,
not to
that's
do
good.
that, but they were all reading off the computer. I mean,
Oh,
look up a little bit when you can, but
yeah. God. Oh my gosh. So long.
Oh.
a lot of talking.
Yeah. Oh man.
Well, I wonder if the two articles that we have right now are good for like our points. Do you guys want to use? Hold on, sorry.
When do you think we should start trying to do you think we should try to start the outline now or?
I don't know. I don't have my syllabus on me. Actually, when is the outline due? Do we know?
Let me see.
Oh, the 4th, June 4th. So that
Great. That's nice. What is that, next Sunday?
Yeah.
okay. I think that's manageable though. If we just get like
When's
figure out.
our presentation due? Or
Is
debate?
it the 11th? I might have made that up, but I feel like it's June 11th.
Okay.
That sounds right.
Okay.
But
Oh, that's coming right up.
Did we just get a super early one somehow? Because I don't think everybody's is due.
I
it's
don't know. It's the first group. Or the first like set. Like, she did it by alphabetical order, I think. Like there's 2 groups that are doing it. I'm not sure. Am I making that up also, or is that a different class?
I thought that was who we were supposed to comment on for the discussion board.
Oh.
So 2 groups should debate in the same week, and then if you're in the first part of the alphabet, then you comment on or ask questions about the first one.
All right, that sounds right.
And then
So,
yeah. But her email was super confusing, so I don't know if I read that correctly.
well, what group number are we? Is that the order that we?
5,
person?
I think it says we're week 5, but I don't know. Her schedule thing confuses me.
That's coming up.
Because it says discussion board 6 and link in week 10, module 16. So I think her schedule is like from like a regular like spring or fall semester, and then she didn't like fix it for the summer one. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's really confusing. I hate that it's that way.
So we for sure probably are gonna do formal, you guys think?
I'm good with whatever.
Yeah, I'm
Honestly.
fine with either.
With whatever too. I was just gonna add it to the log.
Well, yeah, an informal, I mean, they had like the introducer, the researcher.
The introducer,
Okay.
summarizer, illustrator, researcher, and fielder. So there's 5 roles.
I
Okay.
feel like that would
Yeah,
be
I saw those. So is the formal just stater, prover, attacker?
There's 4. So
Okay.
stater, prover, attacker, and moderator.
But then there can be two of each, though.
Right.
I can go either way. I really don't have. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm fine to argue either way, and I'm fine to have it be formal and formal. It doesn't. I don't think either one's going to be easier. So.
Yeah.
What does the illustrator do?
Show like graphs and stuff.
Oh boy.
But like, I don't even know if we'll have.
What graphs are we going to have? I know, that's why I'm like, can we just stick to formal?
Well, it could also be examples. So for us, I feel like we won't have graphs really, but some like examples we might be able to throw in there.
Yeah, I think it just says visuals, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be data.
It's how is the point or counterpoint important to the people in the class.
Oh.
So I don't know if it necessarily has to be visual, but we have to like relate it back to our classmates.
Because I'm like, what could we do that would be visual?
How it relates.
I feel like
Why is it important in the just like talking about why this debate's important, like illustrating it that way.
yeah, if we like gave examples of times that gift giving has gone good or bad, that could be relating it back and kind of like painting a picture, even though it's not like an actual visual.
And you know, I feel like we're going to be doing that with our debates anyway, so maybe we don't really need to have those. We should just do it.
What does the fielder do?
Identifies questions, and then creates a Q&A presentation. So any questions that we think would be asked, and then any material that we omit is what it says. Which I guess if the professor's giving us questions anyways.
Right. Kind of that format.
I'm not really sure. Maybe we should just do formal.
So
It's wrong. It's not wrong. Sorry, Stacey.
I mean, the fielders I think are going to be. I mean, I'm leaning towards informal only because I feel like we all kind of. I don't feel like there's like a clear black and white, and I don't know how much information we're going to be able to actually gather to really discredit the other side.
Yeah.
I kind of think it might be easier to get the like 3 key points and then get evidence to support it and get evidence to dispute it. And then just kind of, each of us can kind of go back and forth and just have roles to read or to present it.
Yeah. And then we could do obviously the introducer, and then the summarizer could talk about like Heather was saying, like talk about gift giving, different types of gift giving across cultures, how it, you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
summarize that. And then the researcher could do like research we found on multiple relationships or stuff. Obviously, we're not going to have as much research as other groups are because it's just not available.
No.
So maybe we should do informal.
I think I'm leaning that way, but I mean, do we
Yeah.
have to explicitly decide like today? Does she need to know what kind of debate we're doing?
I thought she
I
did.
mean, before we do it,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure before we start the debate, we have to say whether it's formal or informal.
Okay.
So it has to be decided at some point.
Yeah, and I think we just put on the planning log that we're going to decide today, but if we need a little bit more time, I mean, I still need to like look over a lot of the
Yeah.
data and research, so maybe we can just extend the date on the planning log for that part. And then put like determine roles.
Yeah,
And I
was
did.
gonna say, I don't. I mean, I don't even know if more time would help me decide because it doesn't matter to me. Honestly, like it might be easier to start the outline once we know, because then we can kind of divide it by those roles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we should probably start it soon if it's due in like a week, essentially. I don't know how in depth it has to be.
I wouldn't think that in depth, because then we would just be giving away what our whole debate would be.
Right.
Oh, she's also going to, when we submit the outline, she's going to pose us with questions that we have to explicitly answer at the end of the debate based off of our outline as well.
Okay.
Is there anything else that, I mean, are there any other goals tonight that we had besides the informal and formal?
I don't think so. Let me see. We found in favor and we have the multiple relationship stuff. Do you think so? So are we? So we're not going to meet next week? Do we decide that?
I didn't think anybody was available.
Yeah. Do you think we should just next week make it a point at some point during the week to edit the outline?
Yeah, I feel like we should decide on maybe rules so that we all have something to do on the outline. Right. Since it's due next Sunday, if we're not going to meet next week, then I feel like we should figure it out.
Definitely.
Well, I could, I think I would like to be on the side that says it's unethical and try to get some of the points for that. I feel like if you guys are okay with that. Do you guys have a preference on which side?
Something that confuses me. Okay, so for the informal, like in the formal, it's obvious, like attacker, stater, you know, all that stuff. So for our format, say we do informal, we'll have someone provide the introductions, which would be the introducer. We'd have someone summarize kind of what gift giving is, sort of like operational definitions, examples, non-examples type of thing. And then the research, would we just have 2 researchers? Like someone presenting information in favor of, and then someone else be a researcher presenting not in favor of? Or how would that work? That's what's confusing me.
Well, so it says that the summarizer describes the specific point. And so I would assume like one summarizer presents one specific point, and then the other summarizer would like counter that.
So we would have 2 summarizers then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Essentially, yes. And then we could have, I mean, one summarizer could also be a researcher.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like that format's going to work the best for us.
I do too. I like that.
So I'm just going to say we started discussing what our individual roles would be. I'm going to put that in another box. We are going to get all the points on this log.
Thank you for doing that.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Okay, so someone said, Heather, did you say you wanted to be a summarizer? Is that what you said?
I would, but I mean, I'm also open to.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. If anyone has a preference, let's just do that now, and then we can start that way.
Stacy's.
Because it really does not matter to me. I just feel like it'll be nice knowing what the role is, because then we can do more with, you know what I mean, with our individual roles, rather than kind of just sitting around panicking, which is what I'm doing right now. So it'd be nice knowing.
Yeah.
So we'll have summarizer 1 and then summarizer 2, most likely. Is that what you guys were saying?
And then the other, so the stater starts saying, you know, it's unethical, and then the summarizer says it's unethical because X, Y, and Z. Is that right?
The stator's in the formal. So
it's called the introducer.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't have it.
But I think it's like the same thing.
Okay.
So introducer just like states what it is and kind of leads in for each person to talk next and what they're going to be talking about.
Okay, Tori, what are you looking at that has all the information on it? I can't find that.
It's titled debate assignment.
Okay.
It's really long, but it kind of like goes over the formal and informal and part of it. I found it on course content somewhere, probably module 1.
Yeah, because I looked at all the like sample debate stuff. The online ethical debate research. Oh no. Gosh, there's so much stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot to read.
Okay, that's where the topics are. Why can I not find that?
I have debate assignment, debate outline instructions, debate video, intro transcript.
Where's that at?
The one debate assignment.
Is that in the groups, or is that in like the modules?
I think I found it in modules.
Okay.
I'm in 3 classes right now, and they all jumbled together.
Oh my gosh, I know. That's why I'm like with my other one. I'm like,
Okay, modules.
Oh, I found it.
1.
It's in module 1 under group debate information.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep.
Oh man.
I would kind of like to be a fielder and like take all of her questions and do that part if nobody else wants to.
Works for me.
So I have to create a presentation, and I'm not sure if that actually has to like show during our live debate or if it's something I just attach. But I don't know how to show my screen.
Up in the top left, that little green computer looking thing. It's the screen share.
Well, I'm having to do it on my phone right now, so I guess I could just like
Oh
put the
yeah, it's way easier.
phone's camera.
I've done it on my phone too. It's way easier on the computer with the screen sharing and everything.
Yeah, but yeah, my computer microphone wouldn't work.
Oh yeah, that's
so
right.
I had to go to my phone. Yeah,
Okay.
I could not figure it out.
Blessed. Oh, okay. Remind me again, Heather. You said you want to be summarizer, or did you say researcher? I'm so sorry. I know you already said it like twice.
Or wait. Oh gosh, I got confused with the roles. Actually, I'm just gonna leave it open. Somebody else pick first.
All right. Sarah, do you
So
have a preference?
I really don't have a preference.
I need to look at this again. Where are these? Okay,
So summarizer just describes it, and then the research presents like the facts on it.
I think summarizer, yeah.
You think summarizer? Okay.
Summarizer.
So you're gonna do summarizer. Saying, like against gift giving, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, cool. All right. And then so the summarizer 2 will be 4. And then so our introducer introduces us and introduces the topic. And then what else?
So
yeah,
like basically each time a new point's being made, that person's gonna introduce what it's gonna be, like what the point's gonna be, just kind of really vaguely.
So similar to the moderator, kind of. And the other one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and you probably wouldn't have to say too much about the point. You would just say like, okay, and next Heather's gonna speak for why.
It's like a lead in.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a lead in for the point.
Okay.
So it's probably like a sentence.
Between each one after you do your initial stuff. Basically.
So, I mean, I would be more than willing to do the introducer and the fielder because that'd be like nothing.
Well, we have.
But I mean, I'm good for whatever.
So we have 6 people. Great.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna need 2 summarizers and 2 researchers.
5.
Okay. So they'll kind of be like on the same team. So like if Heather is summarizing against gift giving, then say I was the researcher 1, I would also show research against multiple relationships, sort of, or gift giving or whatever. Is that kind of?
I feel like we should have a summarizer for gift giving and then also a summarizer against gift giving.
Yeah.
And then 2 researchers for those 2.
Good.
Okay, researcher for, researcher against.
And Jen, I think we probably will have some pretty good research now that we have those 2 articles. I'm looking at them, and I don't know what kind of research it is, but they have a lot of stuff. So.
Right. Well, and we could also even make a point, like, I mean, the person who is researching, who is saying that gift giving isn't harmful, that person could say, well, there's not explicit research that shows that this is harm. You know what I mean? Even making a point of saying well, there's not explicit research showing that this behavior is harmful or that it's, you know what I mean? Like, we could bring up that there's not as much research, because I feel like if it were this really harmful thing, then there would be more, you know what I mean? There'd be more saying, hey, definitely don't do this. Like, obviously we know like certain multiple relationships are harmful. There's research on that. Like, obviously, like sexual relationships with like clients and other people, that's very harmful. Like, there's research show, you know what I mean? Like, but
there's a social significance to it.
Exactly, because I feel like for ours, you could even say that in a debate, you know, that says it's okay. I mean, you could say, well, where's the research that shows that it's doing harm? You know what I mean? Even with all the research, you know what I mean? Obviously, we have other research too, but I feel like we could even bring that up just to make a point of it. But
I'm feeling way better about this now.
yeah. Still a little worried about 30 to 45 minutes, but okay. Okay, so one more time before I decide which of these two I want to do. I'm still having trouble with summarizer versus researcher. Like, I get that here's the evidence, but wouldn't the summarizer also be summarizing?
I think the summarizer just gives the general point. Like, it says a brief statement on the background and then any like relevant information. And then I
Okay.
feel like a researcher could even speak after and give the research that's,
And go more in depth, kind of.
yeah,
Okay.
but only, and it says just the findings and conclusions. You don't need to really even give a lot of info.
Well, then I can do the summarizer 4, because I feel like I have a lot of stuff that talks about like different culture, you know what I mean? Things
Yeah.
that I've found kind of that are relevant to that. And so I personally, I understand why certain forms of it are wrong, but I do personally feel that it's not that bad a thing. Like, I'm like, there's worse things. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's
100%.
but,
I definitely agree.
um,
I just like to play devil's advocate.
oh yeah, no, totally. For the summarizer 1, I'm gonna say Heather. I'll do summarizer 2.
It does seem like the summarizer would go first and then the researcher, though.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah. I think you're right. Researcher. So summarizer 1, researcher 1, summarizer 2, researcher 2. Right.
Yeah.
All right. Do one of you guys have a preference of being in favor or against? Or so if we did it this way, if we did do 2 for each, then we would have to have the same person, probably, like Tori was saying, do that, right? Or could we just, do you know what I'm saying?
I
If
didn't
we,
hear half of like what you said. Can you say it again?
oh yeah, I'm sorry. I was just saying if we did 2 summarizers, 2 researchers, we would have to have one person have 2 roles. You know how you had mentioned doing the introducer too?
Yeah, I could do the introducer and fielder.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's totally fine. I don't think, I mean, introducer's not gonna be a big deal, I don't think.
Yeah, it doesn't seem super deep, but I don't feel bad. I don't, unless you like willingly do it. I don't want you to have to do 2 things.
No, it's totally fine.
I
I mean, do we have David?
have him do what? Have him be
Do we have David? So we need
David.
Yeah, if the 2 left want to pick, then we could give him whatever's left.
Yeah. Okay, so
Since
Stacey and Sarah, do you have any preference at all?
Sarah?
I really don't.
You don't? I mean, I kind of like the idea of playing devil's advocate as well. But
Being
what's
against
left? What roles are left?
Both both people presenting research and the illustrator, which I'm still not sure exactly what they would do in our debate.
I mean, I have a general idea of what an illustrator could do. Like if we're bringing up cultural points, could it just be like a pie chart of gift giving and cultures or something like that? I'm okay with that, and I'm okay with being the illustrator, but I got to figure out my technical issues here. I'm hoping it's just my browser. It needs to be updated. I'm okay with that. And would the illustrator present like visuals for both sides, do you think? Like would I support both sides of the argument?
That's a good question. Does anyone know?
I mean, I feel like I could.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not really arguing with each other. We're just kind of like making points. Like, well, that's a good point, but.
Yeah, you could have something, yeah, like you could have a graph like you were talking about of
It's killing me.
that was weird. Can you guys hear me again?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can you, okay. Oh, now my other person's up there. What was I gonna say? But yeah, maybe like if we talk about cultures, you could maybe have a visual of, or even like, do you think we could even do like infographics maybe? Like, I don't know. I feel like those are a big thing now. People love making infographics.
Do we have everybody? Sorry, mine's
I just got kicked off.
being weird.
Yeah, I got kicked off too, randomly.
Yeah.
Do we have Stacy?
Uh-oh, no.
Nope.
That was weird. Did we all get kicked off like the same time?
Maybe. Well, I don't know. I popped back in. You were talking about infographics. I don't know what that is. So maybe.
Oh, it's just like a big display of like information. They're like colorful and they have different facts on them. Like, oh, this is kind of funny. The one that popped up first is like the gift that keeps on giving, the anatomy of a perfect corporate gift. They're in like magazines a lot. Here, I'm gonna just
That's cool.
copy. I'm gonna see if this works. It might not even work. Okay, do you guys see what I just posted in the message? So like, this is really funny because actually all the ones that are coming up are like about gifts. But it's just like a colorful picture usually that has like a whole bunch of like percentages and facts and like stuff like that.
I don't see it.
I don't
Is it in
either.
the
It's
Hangouts?
in the Google Hangouts messaging.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
No.
Really?
Oh wait, there it goes.
Oh, now I see it.
I think it takes a second.
Yeah.
Okay. But they just show like, you know, like percentages and pictures and like here, this one's like, I'm gonna copy another one that's gift giving traditions around the world, and it has like, I'm not saying we have to use these specifically. I'm just giving like examples. Sometimes they already have like graphs and stuff in them. It's just like all of it together, kind of in a visually appealing format. So maybe we could even add something like that on the illustrator part that just talks about, you know what I mean, in like a more desirable format. I don't know.
That's kind of cool.
No, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Mm. Interesting.
So, Stacy, you want to be the illustrator?
Yes.
Okay. Who's left? Sarah?
Yep.
Oh my gosh. I found, sorry, there's this one that's,
So,
where did it go?
Sarah, do you want to be for or against? We can make David be the other one.
I think I'll go for gift giving. And
Okay.
then,
So you're researcher 2.
okay.
Sorry, is that
What?
Sarah, did you say you wanted to be a researcher too?
Yeah, yep.
I don't have the screen up. Okay. Um,
And then we could have David be researcher 1. Hopefully he's okay with that.
Jen,
lucky.
what side are you on?
I'm 4.
Okay, you're 4.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm for certain aspects of it. Not, yeah. I don't know when to clarify
And we can
that.
put that too.
We can do that at the
Kind
end.
of clarified in the beginning.
Well, maybe I could even say that in my 4. I could be like, look, I'm not saying I'm for, new clothes and computers and gold bracelets, but like,
I think you can draw the line.
right, but
I
say
mean,
like, there's a certain, right.
So you
Yeah,
just basically start off saying that gift giving in ABA is not always unethical. So
Right, yes.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Do like the centers policies against it?
What?
Do the centers you work for have policy like on gift giving?
Mine does.
No. I actually talked to my boss about this morning. We don't have anything explicit, like we don't even have an employee handbook. But I mean, yeah, it sounds like everybody I asked, everybody's handbook had policies in it and explicitly stating, but then everybody was like, yeah, but we still take the gifts because it's rude.
Yeah, we are. We have a policy against it. We have parents try to give gifts a lot though. Like I work in like a pretty wealthy suburb of Indianapolis. So like a lot of our families are very well off. So they'll try like all the time to like give gift cards and like, you know what I mean? It's not just like holidays. It's like all the time.
Yeah, we got donuts this morning.
Yeah, because our policy is like if someone does give you a gift, like if you accept it, it basically gets like raffled. It's like around Christmas time, like if the gift, which I think is kind of silly, but so then like everyone that gets Christmas gifts, they're just like raffled off to random people, basically. But I don't know. I feel like what doesn't make sense about that is that you're still accepting it. Like the act of accepting it is saying, you know what I mean? Like that's what would create the dual relationship, in my opinion.
Yeah, they don't know where that gift went.
Right. They don't know that your gift, it's being given to someone else. So it's like they still think, I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't take away the action.
We all think it's kind of silly. Those of us that have been there a long time, like, don't really abide by that as much. That sounds bad, but like the new people are always kind of like, oh, here, and we're kind of like, it's $5 Starbucks. Like, I'm taking it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I feel like if
I'm gonna take a $5 gift card. Like,
yeah, I feel like if the parents found out that you guys did that too, they would.
Yeah,
like,
that's what we're always like. Would you
upset.
be mad if you bought a gift specifically for someone? It's like, oh, no, here, random person.
Regifting. It's regifting. It's rude.
Like white elephant.
Yeah.
You know,
forced
It's kind of.
sorry. Yesterday or Monday when we met, I thought that all of you guys like never accepted any gifts and it was only me. I was like, oh God.
No. Oh, yeah.
Podcast here. I accept those coffees.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, I don't know.
No.
At the center I work at, it's kind of like up to your discretion. So, like, most of our parents bring in some kind of edible homemade
Right.
item
And I
for
feel like,
gifts, and we accept that.
and I don't know, to me, and I think I can bring that up whenever I'm talking about different degrees of gifts. And I understand why I understand why it needs to be black and white, because then there's not, it kind of reminds me of like, I'm Catholic and there's like certain issues where to me it seems dramatic that it's like black and white, but then it's like, okay, well, if it's not, then it's like, where does the, you know what I mean, the church stand on this sort of. And I feel like the BACB is the same way. While they may not have as big of a problem with the small gifts, they have to have a black and white stance because otherwise it wouldn't, you know what I mean? As they're being in that leadership role, they have to take that black and white stance, I guess. Yeah, but I feel like especially like things that are baked, I don't know. Like who is like, oh my gosh, like I really feel like I'm closer to that mom because she gave me a cookie. Like nobody. Like I don't like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like if you give someone something like that, you're not expecting them to like, oh my gosh, now they love me. Like they, you know what I mean? Like here's a piece of cake. Versus like obviously with your friends, you're gonna give them nicer gifts because you do want them to be, you know, you do want to show more so. Versus like I don't think anyone has ever meant harm by giving someone something small like that, especially like baked goods. I don't know. But yeah, long story short, I have accepted things.
Like I said, I had donuts this morning. Okay, so we have everybody's position.
And we're doing informal for sure.
Okay. Do we know
So-
what like key points we want to touch on so we can decide like counterpoints and what to actually research?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So for the outline, I'm gonna put intro. So should we just decide more of the rules right now? I feel like that will be helpful. Or more things that we want each role to talk about, like you were saying.
I really
Yeah.
like that article that I found that talked about like dual relationships and boundaries. Where is it? I gotta find it again.
So do you think from the beginning, Heather and everyone else, that we should approach it first and foremost as a dual relationship? Like mention that from the beginning, since that's kind of what the danger of gift giving is the dual relationships, kind of mention them hand in hand?
Yeah.
Okay. So for the introducer, do you want them to introduce both kind of what gift giving is and what dual relationships constitute? That makes sense.
I kind of like the idea of like operational definitions and explicitly state like what the board says.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Define dual relationships, gift giving.
Right, and kind of introduce the gray area of like kind of where we teeter a little bit.
kind of like operational definitions of gift giving and dual relationships. Is that what we said?
Yeah.
Is that something that you want me to go over like in the beginning when I introduce? Like
That's what I'm thinking.
How?
Like just in the beginning, just saying the definitions of those two things, and
so that it's clear what we're like
yeah, I feel like that would be good. Do you guys think? Or
Yeah, I mean, I have the rubric right here, and it says that the introduction needs to be engaging, and it states the main topic and previews the structure of the presentation and the debate guidelines.
okay, so they will introduce the informal format.
Introduce us and our roles.
And I'm editing the debate outline right now. If anybody wants to put anything else, I'm just kind of writing down what people are saying for each role. So do you think that we should have the introducer say the BACB opinion, or do you think we should have the person that's against? So Heather, whenever she's doing her summarizing, do you think that Heather should say it to
Yeah,
summarize kind of what she's going to say versus the introducer?
I think she could use it as a point, like a key
Right.
point.
Yeah.
And then does the
And I
introducer?
don't want to.
Oh, sorry.
I don't
Yeah.
want to like take away from her points when I introduce it. So like,
Right. Yeah.
I feel like as the introducer, I'll say what the topic's over, and then be like,
And you
Heather's
also
going
introduce
to.
us, right?
I think I do have to, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And
So
then what
introduce
you're
us
gonna
group
be,
members.
what
Okay.
your role is.
So introduces group members and roles, operational definitions of gift giving and dual relationships, and then introduce informal format. Kind of.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Can I do the outline as roles? I feel like that would be easier.
Yes.
Because
Right?
that's how I'm setting it up right now.
Yeah, I think that'll work. My phone's gonna die soon,
Okay.
so if I cut out, that's why.
Yeah. Well, and I'll just kind of, I mean, we don't have to stay on here too much longer. I just thought we could at least kind of put an idea, and then maybe after we each kind of write those roles for each part, we can each just go and edit our own part. I think that'd be a lot, you know what I mean? A lot less overwhelming if next week all we are basically doing is we're editing our chunk of the outline. And then, you know, Sunday we can kind of do like a last call and everyone can look it over before we submit it next Sunday. Is everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
That sounds good. I'm not gonna be able to do the question and answer part until
Right,
she
sure.
submits things, so that'll be super vague, but
Yeah, and you can even say, like, you know what I mean? Even if you're just writing as your part, fields questions from, you know, the because that is what you're doing. I mean, how are you supposed to know?
yeah.
And if we want to elaborate on each of these things, like if you want to go in later, you know, and go ahead and, you know what I mean, edit your part anyway. I feel like it'd be easier to edit our own parts because we're the ones that are going to be saying them. So it's like, it's not like we want everyone else to be, you know what I mean? It seems like there's no point in.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be a lot easier. If that makes sense. Is everyone fine with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have the summarizer 1 is in favor. Or I'm sorry, is against gift giving, right? That's Heather, right?
Is that me?
Do you guys want to
Yeah.
do a con first and then pro, or does it matter?
I feel like we should do, well, I don't know. Because I feel like maybe we should do, yeah, you're right. Maybe we should do 4 gift giving first since it's kind of less strong. And then we can finish by saying, hey, look what the BACB says. Kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe we should do it that way. What do you guys think?
I think that sounds good.
Because I feel like the end of our debate needs to be something like, at the end of the day, it's still not okay. Because, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not. So I feel like we shouldn't have a debate going against that. Oh, so maybe we should do, that's a good point. Maybe we should do, switch it, have summarizer 1 be for gift giving, which would be me, right? Was I summarize, or was I the one?
Yeah.
It feels like this conversation has been longer than it has. Probably just because it's been a long week.
I feel like
Against.
Do what?
I feel like
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I feel like if the illustrator's gonna go over both the pro and the con, it should be like introducer, summarizer for pro, researcher for pro, and illustrator for pro, and then summarizer, researcher,
Okay,
and illustrator
I like
for con.
that.
And
Yeah, I
then
think-
Gilder at the very end.
Do you
But
guys
it-
see the question? Sorry.
It has to go back and forth, though. We can't just like say all of our points and then like
Well,
point.
that's what I was going to ask. Do we have to go back and forth an amount of times?
I'm pretty sure.
I know with the form, I don't know if you have to with the informal though.
That's what I
So-
wondered, because for the informal, from what it looked like, it was just each person talking, but again, it's a sample, so I wish there was something that was more clear.
I mean, it says that it should be informal and conversational.
And conversations
But are-
go back and forth, though. They're not like,
Right,
Yeah.
but I feel like the hard part is how do we know when to cut in, and whenever we cut in, we don't want to take away from other topics unless that's like a really good point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like that's maybe why we should have it typed out so that we know when our
Oh
part's
no,
done.
definitely. That's why I'm trying to decide whenever we set up the summarizer 1 for our outline, do you think it should be like summarizer 1, I make a few points, and then we go to summarize, or I don't know. Do you think we should have, here's my other thing. I feel like if we do it that way where we go back and forth, I feel like only a couple roles should be going back and forth.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, should we only have the researchers or
Yeah.
the summarizers? You know what I mean? Because if we do, like you were talking about, Tori, if we do the introducer, summarizer, researcher, infographic, it's going to be really hard to go, like, we wouldn't have distinct points for the for the illustrator to come in if we're just going back and forth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe after a researcher makes a point, then like the illustrator could come in and show that point.
So do you think we should do it like, for example, we do the introducer, so we're all talking about the same segment of our topic. So for example, I start by saying I'm for certain aspects of gift giving because culturally, other cultures are more likely to be offended by us denying gifts than say, Western culture is. So then someone presents research on cultures, then Heather comes in saying something against it. The illustrator comes in with information on gift giving and cultures. And then do you think we go to a new topic, or does that make sense? Like we stay on a topic so that it's not like, am I making any sense?
yeah, you are. And I think that sounds right. Like
we would organize it by topic so that we're not just like all over the place.
Yeah, so one person makes a point and the other person addresses what they said and then starts a new point. And then
So do you think maybe we should do it in a way that the info person goes immediately after the researcher for each point? I'm
not sure.
Because what's hard for me is like I get how we would do it if it was like just the point, but I'm having trouble with if we're going back and forth how the other roles are going to work, because if the summarizer, because every time we argue about something, like, am I going to summarize every different argument?
I'm confused on the
sorry.
I'm confused on how the summarizer and the researcher is separated.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like the summarizer, I think, is more brief and is like, these are all the points for, and then the researcher would defend those points. Is that right?
Yeah. But I feel like we're going to be reiterating the same thing.
Yeah, no, we
over.
are. That's why I'm like,
especially because I'm going to introduce it, and then somebody's going to summarize it, and then somebody's going to show data on it, and
so
then
do you
somebody's
think
going to
knowing
illustrate
that
it.
information,
What?
do you think it's going to be easier knowing what you're saying? Do you think that the formal format would be easier where we have specific people proving and attacking? Not to go ahead and just switch that up, but I don't know. I'm trying to, like, how are we going to do each individual topic with each person, I guess? Am I making any sense of what I'm saying?
You are.
Because if we have to all speak multiple times, that's going to make it a lot more difficult to organize it.
I think
Unless we just chose like 3 aspects of it or something. Like, say we chose like culture. What was the article you had, Heather?
It's
Hold up. I
against, 6 arguments against dual relationships and their rebuttals.
okay.
I feel like this has like everything we need.
So we should just go off of this, you think?
Yeah. I think so, if that's okay with you guys. I mean, it's.
Oh no, yeah. I just don't want her to be like, wow, you stole this whole thing.
I mean, if we're rephrasing it, and there's a lot of different articles, and it's as long as, I mean, that's just
Do
kind
you
of.
think that we need to do all 6 of these things though?
No.
Because like I think the slippery slope is really important. Because that's the point of like, a cookie could turn into,
Mm-hmm.
let me give you this big gift, And I
Yeah.
feel like knowing when to cut it off is going to be a point too. Obviously, you can accept, where's the point where you're like, oh, I can't accept that. Like, so I definitely feel like we should talk about that. And the slippery slope would fit into what I was talking about. That other article I just found with the multiple relationships.
Yeah.
Concern with boundaries.
Yeah, that's really good.
So do you think we should just kind of pick like 3 of these things and then sort of elaborate on them?
Yeah.
I don't know that we need to do anything with incidental encounters because I feel like that doesn't really relate to gift giving, right?
Right.
Nor does really, I'm trying to read through these. The
Power
slippery slope, I feel like definitely does. I think you could make an argument for the power and exploitation one too.
Yeah.
Because if you had someone giving this big gift to you and you're accepting it, then they're probably going to feel like every time now they have to give a big gift, which I feel like would be a form of exploitation, right? Does that make sense?
Oh gosh, and it has. I didn't look over this article as much. I think it's gonna help
Yeah,
us
it
out.
has a lot of good points in it. So do you guys think we need to just choose like, say 3 topics and then we just do our debate? Each person talks about for and against that topic, kind of? I don't want Stacy to have to come up with 5 million pictures and graphs and stuff for each thing.
Yeah, I don't think we have to do an illustration for each one.
For every single one. Just like maybe
just like
one.
throw a couple in there.
Yeah.
Maybe one pro and maybe one con.
Right. No, I think that's a good idea.
And it says examples. I mean, it doesn't have to be like visuals necessarily, but just like
Sure,
an example.
Right.
And this could be like a story, like kind of thing, like telling something specific that happened.
Right. Because I feel like the opposite of it. So if you're making the argument for the slippery slope, Heather, I could talk about, well, as long as I'm understanding where I need to draw the line with those things, then I could avoid the slippery slope. You know what I mean? Like as long as I'm understanding, okay, I'm not taking money, I'm not taking big gifts, then that could be my argument for gift giving against you saying, hey, any gift is going to turn into the slippery slope of you have to accept bigger things. I think if I could then rebuttal that by being like, well, you know what I mean? Like it's something little,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like that'd be easier to organize, just picking like 3 topics and going back and forth. Sorry, I'm just like yammering. I'm trying to like make sense of each.
I love it. It's great. I think, and so the slippery slope definitely.
I think, yeah, we should definitely talk about, I'm going to put this at the very top of what I'm writing. I'm just going to write topic ideas for debate.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Have you guys seen on our actual debate homepage, like that, the actual questions that she asks about our topic?
Does she show them?
Because she does bring up some, Yeah, well, no, it's not the questions that she's going to ask. It's
Okay.
just in our description of our debate. There's like questions at the end of it, like, well, what are we supposed to do and stuff like that. And they may be a good guideline too.
Sure. Yeah. So I think are you guys okay with picking like 3 things right now, and then we can focus on those for our debate? 3 different aspects of like the gift giving ethically or something like that. Is that fine with everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think this slippery slope one is good. I think we should do one with culture, because I feel like that's really important, because we talked about we like just talked about cultural diversity and stuff like that. So I feel like kind of putting something in, is that even the right class? Did we just do something with that, or is that my other class?
Were you just in 610 last semester?
I was, but I literally just did a discussion board last night was that in my other class? Maybe so.
Oh, this one was about like how cultures see different behaviors, and then I think it kind of was.
Yeah.
It wasn't about gift giving. It was
Well,
something.
yeah, right. But it was about like how to use being aware of culture. So I feel like we could say it in that way, being aware. Maybe one of our debate topics could be being aware of how culture impacts gift giving.
Yeah.
We could say it that way. And then we could do, there's obviously research about ABA and culture. So we could say, hey, keeping that in mind for this is also important.
And there needs to be like a couple points for each side and rebuttals for each side. So how many are we going to have time? I feel like it won't be hard to actually get.
Yeah, no, I think that I don't think it will either. If we're each taking time to talk about things and presenting different stuff, I think it will be easier. And we can always find out. The first time we do practice record, we'll be able to see how long it is. So if we get to the point where we're like, oh shoot, this is still way too short, or oh man, we need to modify this, we'll know at least ahead of time, So we have the slippery slope, cultural impacts. Is there anything else that obviously there's other things, but what do we think is also like really high up on importance? Maybe the exploitation or something like that.
Exploitation, yeah.
So this, I'm looking at our little description, and it says, is a divide created by not accepting a gift? Does this then act as a deterrent to effective practice through alienating parents or guardians? And how do we as BCBAs account for social differences and cultural competency?
Okay. Because I feel like we do need to talk about that too.
Yeah, we definitely need to hit these points, but even that is true though. I mean, how does, parent trainings go and stuff like that when you start crossing those boundaries, and are they listening to you?
Yeah, and I think we can even also relate it back to like conjoint behavior consultation. Like whenever they're talking about that, they talk about the importance of like keeping that friendly attitude, because if you're trying really hard to not create a relationship where they give you a gift, then you're not, I almost would want to argue that you're not paired enough with the parent, and you're not creating that open relationship where they feel comfortable with you. Because if I don't have a relationship with someone, I'm never going to try to give them a gift.
Right.
So it's almost like if you do have that relationship with the parents, that's something they're more likely to try. But I mean, you don't want to not have a relationship with them, So I feel like maybe even talking about like the more emotional aspects of that type of thing, because I just remember talking, whenever we had all this stuff in CBC, like you need to be friendly, you need to be open, you need to be. So and maybe we should even talk about if maybe the way that you deny a gift or something.
Are those the questions that Tori's going to answer in her thing?
No.
Can you read those again, Stacy?
Yeah. So it was, is a divide created by not accepting a gift? Does this then act as a deterrent to effective practice through alienating parents or guardians? How do we as BCBAs account for social differences and cultural competency? And then what does the literature and ethical code state?
Okay, so we already hit the cultural impacts with our culture topic.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe one of our topics should be the divide.
Impact of treatment?
Do what?
Impact of treatment, maybe?
For one of our topics?
Yeah. Is there like could we consider that gift giving as damaging to? I don't know.
So maybe one of our topics could be, yeah, like is gift giving damaging to the client parent relationship or something like that? And then Heather could argue, yeah, it is damaging. And that could even fit into exploitation, because then we could say, Heather could say, yeah, it is damaging because the parents could feel exploited. And then I could say, well, I think it's damaging because denying a gift makes the parents feel alienated and like we don't have a relationship, and that,
Yeah, so what is the actual damage for and against?
Right.
And I kind of like that. I kind of like that idea.
Yeah, so damage of gift giving. So then I'm just trying to type this out so that we remember all these things. So I feel like we're bringing up good stuff.
I'll be right back.
Possible exploitation of parents. And then I'm going to say, I'll talk about.
You'll actually damage the relationship.
Yeah.
By offending.
Jen, talk about damaging the ship by offending parents or making them feel isolated or alienated.
When one of the research, it wasn't a research article, but just something I found about police officers not being able to accept gifts was talking about if they go to a restaurant every day and are only charged half price, they come to expect it.
Yeah.
And then the time that they come in and are charged full price and they don't it could be damaging, and then that could impact for therapists the quality of the therapy they give to the client.
Yeah, which I feel like fits under exploitation too, because if we don't accept a gift the right way, if we're not oh my gosh, you did not have to do that, but thank you so much. If we just take a gift and we're just expect it, then they're oh, maybe they expect me to give them a gift for all these occasions and these different things. You know what I mean? If they're giving you a gift, hey, I baked cookies because.
Or if the parent. Yeah, and if the parent gives you a Christmas gift 2 years in a row, and then on that third year you come to expect it and then they don't give you one, that could be damaging.
Right, and it could come from exploitation too, because you don't know the family's financial situation. Maybe the first 2 years, you know what I mean? They had a ton of extra money to give you a gift, and then that third year they don't have the money, and now they're oh my God, I feel like I have to because I gave them one,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like we could at under damages, Heather could talk about exploitation, feeling obligated, and then I could talk about or introduce offending them, making them feel alienated.
Mm-hmm. It's also been a thing where one therapist has worked with a client for a long time, and then another my clients have 3 sessions a day, so they have 3 different therapists a day, And maybe one therapist worked with the client for 6 months and the other one has worked with the client for 2 days, and the parent didn't give the new therapist a gift. Well, then they're going to be like, oh, well, you gave the other one a gift, you know?
Yeah, which,
Like, it just could get weird.
right.
I mean, which, like, I wouldn't care about that, but there's definitely some there.
It goes back
therapists
to
that
those,
might.
like, personality types, I feel like, too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we were talking about, different people, too, care a lot more about getting and giving gifts than other people do. So it's like those people might be more offended, too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna say how giving and accepting. Let's see.
All right, my phone has 1% left, so I'm probably gonna be kicked off of here soon.
Is everyone okay if after we're done talking about this, if we turn in the group log tonight, just so we don't have to worry about it? Is that fine with everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because I can turn that in. I don't mind.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just before Tori gets kicked off, if she does. So is everyone fine if we kind of just do those 3 things as our topics, like the slippery slope, cultural impacts on gift giving, and then potential damage of gift giving?
Yeah, if it works like that.
Is there anything else that anyone thinks we need to? And obviously all of these can be elaborated to make them fit into other stuff, I feel like.
Yeah. And again, it's informal too. So I think if we find that it flows really nicely and easily.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be real strict. We can kind of blend it all in together.
Right.
Okay. Y'all, I think I'm going to call it a night too.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
I'll go. Thank you for that. For the log, and then, or is the outline, you're doing it, are you updating it and changing it up and everything?
Yeah, I'm just, right now I put the topics at the top, and then I just kind of was going to start doing it in the format of like introducer, summarizer, researcher for like the first topic.
Okay.
So if anyone wants to comment whenever, edit anything, that's totally fine. I was just going to go ahead and start on it just so we kind of have something to go off of. I feel like it makes it easier.
Okay.
Is that on Google Docs?
Yes. Does everyone have the link to the debate outline?
Yeah. And then do you know when it's due?
It's due next Sunday, right? The outline?
Okay. That sounds probably right.
I think the 4th Sunday.
I don't have the link to that. I'm not sure.
You don't have it? Okay. I'll make sure that gets gets
was
sent
it
out.
emailed? Sorry, did you say you emailed it?
Yeah, it shows you on it.
Oh, I haven't checked my email today.
Okay. Yeah, I sent it after I did the other one, so. And obviously, like I said, edit whatever, and we can just kind of.
Oh, I see it now. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh no, you're fine. I haven't done a whole lot on it. It's still very, up for edits. I just think it's going to be, I feel way less stressed now that we have talked about more of these things.
Me too.
Yeah. But I mean, is there anything else? Are you guys good? If everyone's okay with it, I'll go ahead and I'll add a couple more things to the log that we talked about tonight, and then just go ahead and submit it if that's fine with everyone.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool.
All right, I feel way better. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, me too. Heather, are you gonna post this video?
Yeah, I didn't say anything. I just post the link. I think that's fine, right? She doesn't want me to write about it or anything.
Yeah, I don't think we do. Yeah.
Okay. Yep, I can do that.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. can we just like keep in touch through the messages though, and like
Yeah, through like GroupMe. Can everyone just make it a point? Obviously, all that's due this week is the group blog, but can everyone just make sure that, and if we need to, we can always do like a really quick Google Hangouts next Sunday when that's due, if we need to. But I think if everyone just makes it a point to like edit their part on the outline, obviously it doesn't have to be insanely intense, just at some point, you know, across the next week, I think we're going to be fine.
And then will you guys, if y'all find any like really significant points that y'all think maybe is good data that I can get visuals for, let me know.
Okay. I'll be looking for stuff like that too, because I think it'd be, you know, any type of chart, any data we can have would be awesome. Because
Yeah, so in my research, if I find something, I'll post it as well and let you guys know.
yeah. Do you want to just go ahead and post it in like where the debate outline is, where we have those other articles or something like that? Okay.
Yeah, I'll let y'all know if I find stuff.
Okay. And we can
We'll
always
do it.
message on GroupMe too and stuff throughout the week. So
Yes.
yeah.
my dog is ready for me to go to bed, so he just like came up and like huffed and puffed at me.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, thank you guys very much. And I'll make sure to message everyone at some point or just to keep in touch and stay updated. But
Okay.
thank you guys.
All right, awesome. Talk to you guys soon.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.